Hi, I'm here. When I was 14 years old, I learned a horrifying truth. Not everything that looks human is actually human. Our family moved to a small town in Pennsylvania. I shared a room with my sister Emily. We lived in a creaky old farmhouse at the edge of a dense forest. Our parents thought the fresh air would be good for us after the chaos of city life. But from the first night, something felt off. The house was too quiet. The wind never touched the trees around us, and the stars seemed to still like they were watching. That same night, I woke up to the sound of Emily moving around the room. I thought she had a nightmare, but then she started pacing back and forth by the window. She stood there for hours staring into the woods. At first I thought maybe she was trying to get my attention, but she didn't acknowledge me when I asked if she was okay. She just kept staring. I was about to go back to sleep when she suddenly turned around and walked towards me. As she approached, I noticed her face was pale and her eyes were wide open, unblinking. "There's something in the woods," she whispered. "It looks like me." I laughed nervously. "You mean like an animal?" But she just kept staring. "It's wearing my face." Of course, I thought she had a fever or maybe an anxiety dream. I tried to be reassuring, but something in her tone made me uneasy. I told her to come back to bed, and she did without another word. The next morning, she had no memory of it. Said she didn't remember getting out of bed at all. I brushed it off as a bad dream until the night I saw it too. It was around 3 a.m. I heard tapping on our window. We're on the second floor. I slowly pulled the curtain aside, and my heart dropped. Outside stood another version of my sister. Except this Emily was on the roof, and she was staring straight at me. My mind raced. Was this a hallucination? An escaped mental patient? Or was this another one of those freaky local Pennsylvania things I didn't understand? I quickly shut the curtains and woke up. Emily. She was still sleeping. I got up, crept to the window, and peeked outside. It was too dark to see anything except the swaying branches and the darkness beyond. I felt a chill down my spine. Back in bed, the next morning, I told our parents. Said I was imagining things, sleep paralysis, stress. But I knew what I saw. And that night it came back. The tapping on the glass was louder. It was more urgent. I didn't want to look, just curled under the covers and tried to breathe quietly. Then I heard it speak in my sister's voice. "Let me in, please. I'm cold." But it wasn't her. I knew it in my bones. Something was pretending to be Emily. Something that had seen her, studied her. That morning I noticed something odd during breakfast. My sister had a nosebleed. It was a long, continuous stream of blood that wouldn't stop for 5 minutes. She didn't flinch, didn't react, just sat there like she wasn't really in there. I told my parents, but they just looked at me like I was making things up. This was becoming crazy-making. My sister wasn't acting like herself. She barely spoke. And although she didn't seem to have nightmares anymore, every morning she had strange bruises on her arms and neck. I was worried, but my parents thought it was just typical teenage angst. One evening, I started noticing small things. My sister's laugh sounded different than usual. Hollow, rehearsed. Her smile was always a second too late, like she was mimicking it. And her reflection in the mirror didn't blink when she did. At that point, I was sure something was wrong. But I couldn't convince my parents, so I decided to set a trap. I waited until Emily fell asleep, and then I asked her a question only the real Emily would know. "What was the name of the doll you buried in the backyard when you were 6? She opened her eyes, smiled. "You're being silly," but she didn't answer. She didn't know that night. I locked the door. I sat with my back against it and didn't sleep. And just before dawn, she tried to open it. There was soft knocking, then scratching, then a voice. Hoarse, angry. "You know it's me, let me in. I didn't move, didn't make a sound." Hours passed. The sun came up. When I opened the door, no one was there. But muddy footprints led down the hallway and out the back door. I ran into the woods. I don't know what I was looking for. Maybe the truth. Maybe the real Emily. That's when I found the hollow. It was a pit dug into the earth. Inside were bones, clothes, scraps of skin, faces stretched like masks. And in the center, something pale, thin, wrong. It was sewing. It looked up. It had my sister's face, but not her eyes. Its eyes were black, bottomless. I ran, screamed, got lost. Hours later, I stumbled back into the yard. My mother was crying. Emily was gone. They searched for days, weeks. But I knew she was gone long before the search began. A month passed, and one night she came back. She walked in through the front door like nothing had happened, smiling. My parents were overjoyed. I wasn't. That thing, whatever it was, had perfected her. Same voice, same laugh, same memories. She never slept. And sometimes late at night, I'd hear her talking in a language no one knew. I tried to tell my parents. They didn't believe me. They thought I was losing it, so I waited. I watched. I wrote everything down. Every time she didn't blink. Every time her head tilted too far. Every time she stood over me while I pretended to sleep. One night, I whispered to her, "I know you're not Emily." She leaned in, and in a voice that was hers but wrong, she whispered back, "Then why haven't you told them?" I moved out as soon as I turned 18, never looked back, changed my name. Moved across the country, but I still see her sometimes, in crowds, in reflections, in dreams. She's always smiling, always watching, and she's always wearing my sister's face. Thanks for watching. Do you think the narrator's sister was possessed by something evil? Or could there be another explanation for what happened? Let me know your thoughts below. Also, be sure to subscribe for more creepypastas.